Hi, my name is Elise Noor, and I teach at Regis University in the English department and in Women's and Gender Studies. I'm a member of Regis's LGBTQIA community, and today I'm going to give you a brief introduction to what you can expect if you panel on a Brave Space training. So Brave Space is a 3-hour inclusivity workshop that a group of students, faculty, and staff at Regis back around 2016-2017 put together in order to help our community become more inclusive, affirming, and celebratory of queer identities on campus. This is a 101 level training, so it's designed for folks who really want to kind of start with the basics for learning how to be good allies to the queer community. We also have members take the training who are members of the queer community themselves, and they are seeking information on how to be better allies to other folks within the queer community who maybe don't share their exact identities or lived experiences. In the training, we go over things like terminology, empathy building, awareness of issues impacting queer folks. We do some role playing and case scenarios around how to be a good ally. And the most important part of our training happens right in the middle. It's a 30-minute long panel with queer identifying faculty, staff, and students at Regis to answer questions from our training participants about what their experiences are like. So if you yourself are queer and you are a member of the Regis community, faculty, staff, or students, then we welcome your presence on any of our panels. And we'd love to have you share your voice and share your experience. The way that the panel works is just after the participants have done a pretty big empathy building exercise in the middle of the training, designed to give them a bit of a taste of what it's like to come out as queer, both the joys and the sorrows. They take a 5-minute break to go to the restroom and get some water and collect themselves. And that's when the panel will come in. So you'll be waiting outside the door when you arrive at the training location. You'll be waiting outside the door. You might hear it pretty quiet in the room while they're wrapping up that empathy building exercise. And then the door will open and you'll see folks kind of bursting out. You might see some folks who are a little bit emotional after that empathy building exercise. And that's good. We want them to connect and resonate with the emotional experience of our queer colleagues and students. And so then you may enter the room and go ahead and, introduce yourself to the panelists who will be there arranging chairs and getting the room set up for the panel. You'll sit at the front of the room in a row of 4 chairs. So it'll be you and 2 or 3 other panelists and a moderator. The moderator will be one of the 2 trainers of that Brave Space session. You may know some of your other panelists. You may not know some of them, and you can make a new queer friend through this experience. When the participants come back to the room, the panel will begin and you'll have 30 minutes. The moderator will start by asking each panelist to introduce themselves with their name, their pronouns, their role at Regis, for instance, what department you teach in or what's your major, and then your gender and sexuality identity labels. So when I'm on the panel, I say, I'm Elise Noor, I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm an associate professor of English, and I am a cisgender lesbian woman. At that point, the moderator may also ask you a sort of a warm-up question. Some of our most common warm-up questions are, tell us what it's like to be queer at Regis, or tell us about coming out at Regis, or maybe tell me about an issue affecting the queer community that you're very passionate about. After the moderator has asked you this first warm-up question, they will then open the floor up to anyone in the room, any of the training participants who have questions. These might be questions that the participants came in with based on their personal experiences as teachers, as students, as staff members. Or they might be questions that the participants developed in the course of the training. Maybe during the terminology matching game, they got a little stuck on one of the words and they have questions about what that word means and what that identity entails. It can be a little quiet at first sometimes. Other times participants are frantically raising their hands and there's not even enough time for everyone. So just know that whatever the mood in the room is with how many questions are being asked or what's going on, it's not a reflection of you or anything that you're doing as a panelist. It's just every room is different. When the moderator or a participant asks you a question, you always have the right to refuse to answer. If you're just not feeling it, you're not feeling like going into that, even if the question is directed specifically at you, you may decline to answer. You can say, I'm sorry, I don't feel like talking about that today. or, oh, you know what, I don't really have an opinion on that. And that's totally fine. There's kind of a tendency when the questions get asked to sort of go down the row in the same order every time. You don't have to, though. You can mix it up and jump in if you've got an answer you want to share right away, or maybe one of the other panelists will answer and then you want to offer a different perspective, or maybe even echo what they shared. That's fine. As many panelists can speak for each question as you want. We invite you to also offer some feedback to the participants if they ask the question in a way that isn't using the right language, or you want them to rephrase the question. You can feel free to say, oh, I think what you're asking is this, or, we don't use that word, we use this word, and correct them. You're also invited to bring your full self to answering these questions. You don't need to hide, you don't need to mask, you don't need to be anyone other than yourself in that moment when you ask the question, when you answer the question. Questions that come up might elicit strong responses from you, responses of anger about things affecting the queer community, or it might bring up some past struggles for you or challenges for you. If you cry, if you get emotional as you're answering a question, all of that is valid, and we invite all of that. And please, feel free to be your honest, authentic self when you are paneling. That's good for our trainees, our participants, to see. Okay. If you've never spoken publicly about your gender or sexual identity, it can be a really sort of big moment for you to do this for the first time in front of a room of people, sometimes strangers, sometimes people you might know. And so take good care of yourself. Give yourself time afterwards to take a walk, to reflect, to share with a friend how it went. If stuff that you shared on the panel brings up difficult feelings for you, we recommend getting in touch with OCPD, the Office of Counseling and Personal Development, which offers free therapy resources. Or just go and hang out with the other panelists and debrief and talk, share with your trainers, share with members of the Queer Resource Alliance who put on this Brave Space training. We always love feedback, and we'd love to hear from you about what worked, what didn't work, what you could use support around. If you have any questions about what the panel entails, please reach out. Some of the most common questions that get asked on these panels are, what was it like to come out at a Catholic school? When did you know you were queer? How can I be a better ally? What can I do? What should I not do as an ally? What do you need? And we find that our participants really, they're there to learn. They want to be there. The questions are never hostile. Sometimes they can be ignorant, coming from a place of being a beginner to this language. But they always mean well, and they are trying their best. And so please give them as much honest feedback in your answers as you want. As far as the technical side of paneling goes, you can volunteer for as many panels in a given semester or year as you like. The way it'll work is a member of the Queer Resource Alliance will take your information and put it in a spreadsheet that is a confidential spreadsheet. It will include your name, your year if you're a student, your email address, phone number, position on campus, and also your pronouns and your identity labels to reflect your gender and sexuality. The reason we ask for those is because we like to create as intersectional a panel as possible when we're making our panels. We like to have folks from across the LGBTQIA spectrum, from many different parts of the university, and so we're going to ask you for that contact information and that personal information. And then as Brave Space trainings are scheduled at the university throughout the year, you'll get an email from someone on the QRA with a list of the upcoming trainings. That list will include the time and date of the panel part of the training, the location, and also who the participants are. So if you feel more comfortable, for instance, speaking to a group of students and less comfortable speaking to a group of professors, you can look at who the participants are and make your decision about whether or not to panel accordingly. You will then email back that QRA representative with any and all dates that you'd like to panel. Some people like to do it all the time because it makes them feel really good to share about their experience, to make a difference in the community, to get good public speaking experience, put the line on your resume, all that good stuff. Other folks find it a little draining to talk about their personal experiences, and they say, you know what, I just want to do this once a semester. Whatever you choose, even if you choose to never panel and you just put your name on the list and decide you don't want to do it, we're grateful for you for taking the chance and expressing interest. So you will send your availability to the QRA representative, and then they will respond back to you with which dates we would like you to panel for. If you ask to panel on a certain date and we say, actually, we don't need you, that's nothing personal. That has nothing to do with what a great job you did paneling in the past. It simply has to do with maybe we have already a couple of folks who haven't had a chance to panel and they want to do those spots so that everyone gets a chance. Or maybe in order to get our panel makeup to be as intersectional and diverse as possible, we just weren't looking for your particular identities. And again, that's nothing personal. It's just to make sure that we include a wide range of experiences on the panel. So at that point, you'll get a reminder email from the trainers or from a member of the QRA about a week out with a reminder on the room location, when and where to show up. And you can just come and bring your best self and enjoy. I've always found it a very liberating, empowering experience for me to talk on these panels. I really enjoy sharing about my experience and trying to help build a better community. And it is a low time offering since it's just about 30 minutes. I think that's everything we wanted to share with you to help you feel trained. But if you have any questions at all about the process, about how it works, or you want to do some role playing and practice, please reach out to the member of the QRA that you volunteered yourself to as a panelist, and they will work with you to ensure that you can feel prepared for this training. You can also always reach out to me, and I can role play panel questions with you and help you feel more ready. My email address is aknorr@regis.edu. Thank you so much on behalf of myself, on behalf of the Queer Resource Alliance, and on behalf of the entire queer community at Regis, a place where we value social justice, where we value the human dignity of all our community members. Brave Space is mission work, and we're so proud of you for being a part of that, and so grateful to you for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your perspective. Thank you.